and today we'll be talking about cross-site scripting, or also known as XSS attacks. So, here. So, firstly, I'm keeping two websites open. One is my college website. This is basically our academic web page, and we have everything that we need over here. And there's another one which consists of all our notes and our assignment uploads. It's called as Moodle. This is a pretty secure site, and this is something that was made only for a very small amount of users, basically like my college strength. And this is a totally outsourced party, so their security is pretty high. So I'll be taking these two websites to show how well like you can escape from cross-site scripting. And here we go. So what is cross-site scripting? Cross-site scripting is basically one of the most popular and vulnerable attacks, which is known by like every advanced tester. Most of them it is used majorly just to like steal cookies, and it is actually considered as one of the most riskiest attacks for web applications and can be harmful too. So let's get into what you can do with cross-site scripting, or basically XSS. So the main purpose, like I said, it's mostly to steal the other person's cookies and session tokens and other information, and all this is basically data. So in most of the cases, the attack is being used to steal the other person's cookies. Now, what do we actually do with cookies? First, let me show you how cookies work. So I've logged out of my web page, and now this is a captcha that I have to go through. And okay, I got it wrong. Here. So once I log in, what happens is every time I log into this web page, there's a session that's created, and it has a session ID, a specific unique session ID. Now, with this session ID gets stored in the cookies, and this cookie, if stolen, without entering my password or my credentials, anyone can actually enter into this website to my account just with the session ID itself. So that's basically what sessions are. And so now we know that cookies help us log in automatically and does not need any password or any kind of credentials. So this is like a very basic website. Basically, like I said, it's about my college. So in case of, let's say, a website which is considered more of a banking website or an advertisement or some other kind of website where your data is very important and people could actually use it for a lot of advantages and all. So for those websites, this thing is pretty serious. XSS attacks are. So how do we do it? XSS attacks is being performed basically on the client side. That's basically the user side, and it can be performed with different programming languages. But then mostly they use JavaScript, and even today we'll be using JavaScript to see how we're going to be doing it. And I've already written down like a few codes here, basically these three, to show how it works. So let's get into like how we'll be doing it. Now, what is cross-site scripting? From the name, we see that there is two sites, like cross-site. So it basically means sending and injecting malicious code or script. So there are different ways to do this, but preferably what people do is using a text box. So depending on the XSS attack, the script may be reflected on the victim's browser, or it may be stored in the database and executed every time when the user calls the appropriate function. So let's say in this case we have all these links. For example, if we go into my let's say QC meeting, I don't think it works, but yeah, okay, so there is already a link. So every time I go here, this is when the function has to be called. But over here, as we can see, there is nothing here. It's an empty blank page, so there is nothing we can do over here. So let's get into like what we need. Okay, so in order to first try XSS attacks, we'll be needing we need a text input. For example, over here there's the search course, and as you can see, I've already tried something here, but as I said, this was not a very easy website. So since it was made for a lot of people, they have prevented XSS attacks. So first let's get into my profile. And on the lines of it, again, to say main reason for this attack is inappropriate users input validation, where malicious input can get into the output. Basically, like how you can access someone's a website's database or other users' data. So how it works is basically a user needs to enter a script. For example, in this web page itself, we can see this is basically something again I tried to do, but it didn't really work because of how I told you that Moodle is much difficult to do it. So here we go. See, this is where I've written the script in description. I didn't really work. I'll be showing it in a while. So just hold on. And so back to what we were talking about. A malicious user can enter a script which will be injected into the website's code. So what we see from this is that we'll have to enter the script in a place where it will be able to access the database or the backend of that server. Because without entering the server, there's nothing that you could do that would constantly keep triggering it. And I'll show you something. Since I've been trying this quite some time now, and this is where I've tried it. So this hello page is something that wouldn't be coming in others' web pages because this is something I wrote on my web page and it's stored in the database. So every time I go to Wi-Fi grievances, this is what first pops up. This was a script that was written, and then I get into the actual page. So this was basically because of XSS. Now, okay, so let's first write down all the criterias that would be required to do this. First thing we'll have to find the right text input. Okay, so yeah, first we'll have to find a text input in which in the web page. Sorry for the typos. That would reach the database of the server. This is one of it, and then two. The other criteria we would need is that this selected input field should be such that other users render it. Now what this means? So, sorry, typo there. So field should be such that, yeah. So again, okay, so getting back to it, let me explain what this means. So like I was saying, this is not great. XSS attack is not great for a website like this because this is mostly one-ended website. Let's say in the case of a website where you post ads, okay, so now an ad is something like, for example, in India we have this website. Okay, let's consider eBay. So in eBay, how it works is a user posts what he sells, and another person who desires to get it could search for it and click on that ad. So if the user who is trying to sell writes a script along with its description, and if it validates, if it goes through the whole process without getting caught, then whenever the other end user, whoever wants to buy, clicks it, the script runs. So that's basically how it works. You write a script in your text field, it goes to the database, and whenever another user tries to click on that, tries to open that file, the script runs. That's the basic definition of how XSS works. So that's basically what this means, such that the other users render it. And now for the third point, let's see what else would you need. Oh yeah, the most important thing here is that the input field that we'd be choosing, should not contain any type of filters. What this means? So any type of filters. So what this means? What we mean by a filter is, okay, so this is where we'll show you how it works. There are certain websites. So the way to prevent XSS attack is basically add a filter to this text file and remove all scripts that are being entered into this field. Now this website, which I told you that isn't that secure, so they haven't really done this. So writing a script here actually works. So that's how every time I refresh this page or come to Wi-Fi grievances, first thing what happens is the hello JavaScript page. So how this happened was because I've written a few complaints, as you can see over here, and the first one was basically to alert hello using using JavaScript, and I inputted this script here, and that's how this works. So we'll get to this. I'll just start showing you where this gets interesting. So first, let's get to this. So we are writing a script over here, and we'll just say again. So what is supposed to happen? According to SSS, since this is a text input field, every time you clear, this is supposed to alert your hack again on the web page. So we're gonna try it out and see if it's actually gonna work. And let's see, update profile, and I've written that in. So here it is. So actually, what is supposed to happen is a text input field is supposed to consider the script part, as a code, a piece of code. But over here, what they've added is they've added a filter that makes sure that whatever is written as a script is still considered as nothing but text and not as a code. So whatever we wrote there still comes up over here as this. Now, next, we could actually try this in different text fields in the same web page where I try to write this code. Just try to highlight the bold the high words and check if it works, and let me show you how it works. So go, and it came as just high and it wasn't in bold, so we can see that no piece of code actually works. So it's HTML, no JavaScript, nothing works. Now we'll get to the fun part. So here what we're going to do is again try the same code, and we're going to see how it works. And just to make sure that it gets updated, we're going to write something here. That's going to be best. Okay, so we apply this here, and what happens is it goes not seen properly. Okay, so let's see what happened. Go to Wi-Fi grievances again. So what I found out was basically there was a single quote instead of double quotes, and that turns into something else actually. So now we'll try the same thing and we'll see what happens. So this is the hello thing that generally comes up because of the times I used it for testing, and now the new message is you are hacked. So, and again, since I didn't add any text over here, it comes as a blank text. So in the database, when they check this issue, there'll be a blank text and they won't be able to read the script, but the script will keep running. Now let's try using it for something else. So what I thought was we'll actually add an iframe to this existing web page. Iframe. Yep. So this is a different application for the same exercise, and see what happens. Hello, you are. So what is supposed to happen is here the Google web page is supposed to come, but since it refused to connect, I don't know, it must be some network error. But yeah, so this is what happened. This is what turned out right now, and that's the new problem. And try something else. This is gonna be fun because we're gonna try. This is named as my last grievance because after this I wouldn't be able to complain because we'll be mostly getting transferred to a new web page, that is google.com. So hopefully if it doesn't run, I'll be able to access my Wi-Fi grievances, or this will be the last time I'll be accessing it because there's no way I'll be able to roll back to this function. So good luck. Hello, you are hacked. And ta-da. So that's it. So from now onwards, whenever I actually try to come to Wi-Fi grievances, whatever we try to do till now will be happening. Like, hello, you are hacked. There was a third iframe, which before we could scroll, the fourth one started. So there it is. So this is what you could actually do with XSS attacks. And since this is a very small application, you wouldn't get a very clear picture of it. But if there was a two-way server where there's another user that gets to where another user is trying to access what I just sent, then probably what would happen is, for example, whatever I put up right now in my Wi-Fi grievances, yeah, this thing would be working on every person's computer that is connected to the same database. So that's it about Wi-Fi access attacks or cross-site scripting. Thank you for watching the video and don't get hacked. Bye.